We're working with fuel pressure today. So a while back, whenever this car was giving me all the problems it was giving me, my stepdad said that it was fuel pump. Well, I just love proving him wrong. So I put a new fuel pump in this car just to prove him wrong. Well, that was a bad idea because I used what? A O'Reilly's fuel pump. Those fuel pumps for these cars, I imagine, have a check valve or something built into them that keep all of your pressure from draining back down and out of your system in the under here, because the car would drag and drag and drag. So I went and I bought this from Harbor Freight. And what would happen is when you would turn the key, the fuel pump would prime. It would go up to 50, and then it would drain all the way back down within like 5 seconds. But once you kept turning it, and the car would go, and it would finally crank, once it was running, it's perfectly fine. And I've been driving it that way for a while, until now. So now, what I've done, car's not running now, and we're holding pressure. What I've done is I bought a one-way fuel check valve, and I have spliced it into my homemade fuel line. And now we're going to give it some time to see if it drains down. The time right now is 11:50 a.m. And now we're going to wait to see if this drops any, but honestly, it looks like it's going up instead of going down. I figured this would be easier to do than, well, this mod right here would be easier to do than dropping the tank and changing the pump again, because I really don't want to do that. This car has the steel tank, and it's a little bit more of a pain in the ass than the plastic tank. Honestly, if I could, I would just put my original pump back in. But whenever I was dropping the tank for the first time to change the pump, I didn't realize I had to remove that skid plate that was under there, and I broke the top of the little block-off nipple for the return line. I broke it off, well, for a possible return line. This car does not run a return line, but the way the fuel pumps are made, you have the option. But I broke the top of the fuel pump and it leaked everywhere for a while. Okay, it's been about an hour and we're coming back to check the pressure after putting the new check valve in the line, because the check valve in the pump was fucked when I put it in. And after an hour, we're just below 50. I think this is going to work real well. Okay, the reason it was draining down at all is because the fittings were leaking slightly. I did end up doing this test again by cranking the car, letting it get to normal pressure, and then turning it off to see the leak down. Okay, the car's been off for about 3 minutes now, and our pressure actually went up. So I'm gonna say our little mod here has done its job, and it cranks so much faster now. Well, my little check valve idea was working until I actually decided to try to drive the car a decent distance. I've drove it here to work and popped the hood, and it wasn't really dripping, but I put my hand around it and it was like seeping a little bit, leaking a little bit. And I had the wrenches to tighten up the brass fittings, but not these clamps. Out of all the shit I've ever had in my toolbox, all my screwdrivers have magically disappeared. So now we've had to buy a new set.